Hey guys, wanted to pop in here and start looking at the markets as we approach the weekend, primarily because I'm bored. And you should be bored if you're trading, especially for a swing trader. If you're not bored, then you're probably not doing something right. As a swing trader, you buy right and sit tight. Otherwise, you start getting caught up in the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 32 hour chart, whatever it is, you can get shaken out really quick. And so I try to keep my eyes off of that and just let it go for a while. And so for that reason, I'm bored, which is kind of a good thing. So we're not yet done with the day. We've got a couple hours left to trade, and we will finish the day on higher volume on this SPY, right? So we're going to close out the week on higher volume. This expansion wants higher price. Same thing with the QQQs. Obviously, we had a nice price move this week, and that also, by the time we're done today, will expand on greater volume the next week. That's a bullish signal. Now, that said, we're aware of the fact that we're going into a season, and we're in a season. No one knows when it starts and exactly when it ends, but usually the end of September, early October is a little bit of volatility. And that's one of the reasons why, if you are long the index here, the QQQs, you'd want to take profits. You'd be all out. Because if you remember, the projected price move from the first ABC structure was 600, and we're within 2 points. And whenever it hits 600, expect it to do something else. Sometimes it'll blow right through it, but expect it to do something else because oftentimes it'll consolidate or even pull back a little bit. So I would not be surprised if that happens. I would take it off and wait for the next ABC setup. Always take the money, right? When the money's available, take it, go. Tesla, we made a little money in Tesla this week, but we're not in it. And I'll tell you why. Once it came up to this resistance over here, we're not interested, right? Because even though we have an expansion of volume, from week to week here, right? And we broke out, we're going up against this concrete wall here of 642 million shares. There's just too much noise over here, too much resistance. So to push through that, it's going to be awful difficult to do. And you can see it's kind of fading a little bit now with a couple hours left to trade. That's no good. So we are not involved in Tesla, not interested in it at this point. Now, Apple, a little bit different, but kind of the same problem. We're in Apple because it broke out on price and volume. This is, again, the weekly. Projected price move 260. We'll scale out by the time we get there. But, you don't love all the noise we have over there. But today with the iPhone 17 rollout, there's a lot of momentum behind the stock. A lot of call buying, by the way, out into January. So interested in that, and we bought that. Looking at Amazon, it's not there yet. We're waiting for it to take out this high. Once it does, you're looking at 323. So no interest in trading this chop. It's just up, down, sideways, and no interest in that, right? Wait until it breaks, because that's where the quote unquote easy money is. Meta is a great case in point as well. Again, you don't have volume, which is why I would argue this is probably rejecting. So we're going up against the benchmark is 106 million, right? And we tried this week to break it and go into higher price. It triggered it and failed because we only have half the volume, 50 million. Not enough horsepower in the tank to take it higher. But this is on our watch list because when it does take this out on volume, on greater than 100 and whatever I said, 106 million, then you're looking at 1,038 price move. So, anything less than that is crumbs, so why worry about that? Wait for the setup. NVIDIA wants lower price. I noticed today, technically that's not true. We're just kind of hanging out, consolidating sideways. You want to wait for the highs to buy this. But there's a lot of put activity bought today in NVIDIA. And I don't know what that means, but I noticed that there was a lot of puts bought. The 175 strikes and the 180 strikes into November and even December, if I remember right. So, the big money's kind of hedging the bets, and you just wouldn't do this again until you take out the highs if you're noticing the theme here. You take out the highs and you have a clear shot to 225, which, by the way, then you have no noise over here to contend with, right? This is just empty space, clear skies for flying, and that's exactly what you want. A couple other stocks I'll note just of interest. One is CrowdStrike. Look at this thing taking off. You wouldn't do it again until it hits the highs like we've been talking about, but when it takes out this high on volume, which again, we have volume going into it, so that's a promising sign. But we got to break this on volume. When we do that, projected price move is, I think it's 6. I can't remember honestly. It's 577. I think it's like 5. I'll have to after the video. I'll have to post it somewhere. It's pretty good. I'm not going to do the math live. It'll take too much time here. But you take the highs. A couple of ways you can do it. It's an art, not a science. You take the highs, subtract that number from the lows right here, add the difference right here to this low, and that'll give you the projected ABC price target structure. And I don't remember what it is. I should have it on the tip of my tongue, but I didn't write it down anywhere. Anyway, primarily because my alerts will go off when it approaches this swing point, and then I'll do an analysis and see if we should be in or not in. This one, Coinbase, everyone kind of likes Coinbase, but again, we're kind of, you notice how we're pushing, but you see the horizontal line there, we're kind of rejecting it a little bit because we don't have the volume. This is 57 million. We got a couple hours left to go, but we only have 45 million. The odds of us doing another 12 million shares by the close in a couple hours is not good, right? Not likely. So we don't have enough gas in the tank to push higher. That's why I always talk about volume as being so key. We like things like Bank of America. We'll close out on this because once you're taking it out, you've taken out your swing point, which was over here, right? And a little chop, boom, boom, boom. Now it's taken off. The projected price move for Bank of America is 67, and there's nothing over here to contend with. Again, clear skies for flying, and that's what we like. So again, these are all weekly charts, and so I like to look at the weekly when trading winds down on Friday. Hope it's helpful to you if you take the time to look at this. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your family, friends, and have your stops in place. Take profits along the way, by the way. If you're in any stock that is up, significantly, make sure you scale out of profits because you never know when that quick reset's going to come. I don't expect a big reset, but there'll probably be profit taking. There'll probably be a dip. You have to anticipate that. So take profits. Have a great weekend.